Youngkin's speech is the worst, is a nightmare for Democrats because they have been used to running against Donald Trump. They're used to running against someone who's a puncher.
He didn't call anybody horseface.
No, they're used to someone who turns a lot of voters off personally, and now they got someone who is running on Trump's agenda. Yeah. But he's optimistic and he's positive and he's friendly and he connects with people. This is the nightmare that the Democrats just never. I don't know why they didn't, but they never saw it coming because they always thought Trump was going to be around. Mm-hmm. And so what you've seen, and you saw CenturyLink. I mean, same thing. You know, positive, optimistic, more of a puncher, but not mean.
Who's shockingly still holding a 19,000 vote lead at this late hour.
It is remarkable,
Yeah.
and it just shows you that, you know, for all of the criticisms of Donald Trump and his leadership style and everything, Trump's message, what Trump wanted to do and what Trump did do, is enormously popular.
Yeah.
And you know that it really, you know, Trump needs to, in my opinion, needs to sit back and look at people riffing off him, not ripping off, riffing off him,
yeah.
and succeeding wildly in places that he got creamed. And so what's the difference? And now some would say, well, Trump helped Youngkin and helped CenturyLink. I'm not sure. You could say, yes, he did, but not in the way normally you would help. He helped by being strategic. Yeah. He helped by not, you know, forcing himself down the Republican Party throat and being that larger than life person that he really is. Yeah. He was strategic in saying, you know, to his people quietly and directly to them, help this guy. Right. But not being the front person that the Democrats could beat up on. So kudos to Donald Trump for doing something that is not in his nature, which is to take a back seat and be a silent partner. But that shows that maybe Trump is learning and that the Republican Party is learning. And the bottom line is the Republican Party is a blue-collar, grassroots party that actually can have appeal to minorities. I think you'd be surprised if you look at the numbers for both candidates, that they did better among Hispanics and blacks than Republicans generally do. And I think there's a lot of factors in that: the economy, the vaccines, immigration, et cetera.
Yeah.
But a lot of really good things happened tonight.
Yeah,
for
let's talk
Republicans.
about that a little bit.
Yeah, well, let's go through. We've got a list here. It's a Newsmax article you can find on the website. It's the 6 keys to the GOP's successes. Tonight we're going to analyze the last one here just for a second. But vaccine and mask lockdowns obviously didn't play out very well. The African-American vote clearly was lagging tonight. They didn't. They must not have gotten out because you have Republicans winning. Biden's approval numbers have collapsed, obviously. Critical race theory backfiring big time in Virginia, of course. A horrible economy. And the final one that I want you two to analyze here for a second, Donald Trump.
Right.
How did Donald Trump, does he help?
What Rick was just saying about it, you know, he helped by perhaps stepping back and letting, you know, the local campaigns take a little more control.
The dominant media has made so many mistakes to this day about the President Trump, and what Senator Santorum said is exactly right. His agenda is popular with a lot of people. Right. They think it's his Twitter feed, or they think it's his insults. No, he understood the mood of the electorate, and you see that in the Youngkin campaign. But the power of the coordination between the two camps to keep President Trump in a position to activate the base of the party in Virginia, to make sure his people turned out, much more than they turned out for Ed Gillespie when he ran for governor of Virginia, and yet didn't step foot on the stage. And I mean, again, I think it's going to be comical when people go back and look at what Terry McAuliffe talked about. Trump lived rent-free in his head. Yeah. He talked about Donald Trump every day. Yeah. And there's no blueprint for that. There's no blueprint to say, I'm going to get elected and get a mandate from the people of Virginia because I don't like Donald Trump.
Right. And President Biden showed up to campaign for McAuliffe.
Talking about Trump.
And talked about Trump.
Mentioned
mention.
30, 40 times. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, this is... you know, having worked at CNN and witnessed firsthand Trump derangement syndrome, it is real. It is real on the other side. He is in their head. Yep. And if Trump would understand the magic that he has by letting them be in his head and standing back and let them shoot themselves, this could be an incredible 2022.
Yeah.
It's going to be very exciting.
And kudos to Newsmax. Kudos to Newsmax.
Calling it real
first.
early. Glenn Youngkin calling it first here at Newsmax, hours before everybody else. Glenn Youngkin takes Virginia. In New Jersey, it's much tighter. You've got 19,000 votes, but we're still waiting on a lot of mail-in. That one's not going to get called tonight in New Jersey. I'm sorry, but Jack Ciattarelli does have a lead. That says a lot in itself.
Amazing.
And in Minneapolis, they said no to defunding and disbanding the police department.
Yep.
It was a big night for Republicans, a repudiation of Democrat liberal woke theories.
And we're done.
And we're done. I can't
Already?
wait to get out of this
Already?
place.
Done.
Rick Santorum, Mark Halperin, Heather Childers, I'm Rob Schmitt.
And Braves win the World Series.
And the Braves win the World Series and all that other stuff, too. Thank you so much for watching. It's been a long night. We're going to go to bed. We'll see you
Bye.
tomorrow.
Good night.